week on Punk Rock Foodies Radio, we talk about food poisoning, and KJ Jansen of Chicks Dig It calls in.
I never liked high school, though it was my jam. To let a scholarship in punk and I wanted prison man, yeah, my rules. That's the way it had to be, not to lessally evolve from the prison alcohol. Be more like me, and you run a company to get a job as your intent. But it seems to never end when you're 15 years. Who the hell really cares? All the girls get laid and the places never friends. Oh, one thing I like about going to school is falling in love with a beautiful girl like you. You know I never liked high school. My destiny was not to be literate math. I would rather take a bath on my own crap. Set out, ask me to a dance. I would rather sit in class to be with you and make an ass out of myself. For two runners at the phone. They support for the age. Feel a Mississippi thing. When you're 15 years, who the hell really cares? All the girls get laid and the faces never friends. Oh, one thing I like about going to school is falling in love with a beautiful girl like you. Say I'm not too bright. Sometimes I think that they got right. Sometimes I think you should be president. But I'm remembering your words. The one thing I like about going to school is falling in love with a beautiful girl like you. About going to school is fall in love with a beautiful girl like you. Like you. Like you. Girl like you.
Welcome in once again to Punk Rock Foodies Radio, coming at you live from downtown Mattersville at the Vicious Pig Saloon. This is your one-stop shop for everything punk rock and food. And now, your hosts, Steve Guerrero, Skate Rat Betty, Brian Reinhardt, and the asshole in charge, Xander T.
All right, welcome to Punk Rock Foodies Radio. That was Guttermouth with Scholarship in Punk.
Yeah!
You are listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio. I don't know why I welcomed you in as well, but whatever.
Yeah. We're here.
Consummate professionals.
I like to undermine your announcements.
Constipated professionals.
Yeah.
Constipated?
Why don't you tell him your name? Jesus, man. God, you're rude.
You just said it. I'm Jesus. God, and I'm rude.
Jesus.
No, I am Xander T., the asshole in charge of Punk Rock Foodies, and with me today is...
Steve Guerrero.
Brian Reinhardt. And this is Skate Rat Betty, but I'm not here yet.
Yeah, Skate Rat's, she's got some morning sickness, which is perfect for today, and you'll find out why.
Which is weird, because it's the afternoon. She had a late night.
Hey, you know what? Before we go off the break, I just want I got to put these on, and
neon glasses.
I've got to thank King's Hawaiian for sending.
That's rad.
For
They sent you
sending
some swag.
a little care package. Because we always talk about them and how great their bread is, and I reached out to them. We get an interview maybe with somebody, and they sent some swag my way. I don't really use the word swag that much, so it must be something special.
Yeah, I feel like we're too old to use that word swag, but whatever.
Yeah. But I got some sunglasses, a nice bag, some coupons, and some recipe cards. So thank you, King's Hawaiian. We would love to have somebody on the air with us, talk about your products. So if you actually listen to this,
you'd be the first.
But for those who don't know, Punk Rock Foodies is a Facebook group. Make food, post a pic. We just had an awesome Bad Religion meals competition. We'll talk about that. But first, let's listen to some music, some punk rock music, preferably, since we are Punk Rock Foodies.
All right, how about some Bad Religion, since we just talked about them, and they're one of our favorite bands
them.
out here. Yeah, and and let's play some Blenderhead. Here's Bad Religion on Punk Rock Foodies Radio.
Yes.
Flying through a dark prismatic tunnel on a carousel. The earth is turning and you know it very well. Your mind is reeling like 10 helicopters wheeling, and you're gonna hit the ceiling like a mallet on a bell. Hey Blenderhead, they're starting to ask questions. Your transgressions, a danger flashing sign. Challenge conventions and radiate your splendor, and feel those flywheels turn your blender. Head, yeah. Tally up the gleaming tender ventured on a wishing well. Each shining trinket has a story it can tell. Your moments finding like those tales all intertwining can become the rusted lining of a deep neglected shell. Hey Blenderhead, you ask so many questions. Your confusion's a life-affirming sign. Break from tradition and carry on with valor, and feel those flywheels turn your blender. Hey, yeah. Anywhere she wants to go. She's searching for a signal of the swift of the time. Living in an age of technological advances. It's this little simple pleasure that always makes her smile. But now it's making me smile, and it seems like she only can't say I'm sure you haven't been in songs. But college time has always been a guilty pleasure, so I start to hum along. And for a second I stop and feel ashamed. I remember the verses 1 and 2 and it's okay. I look around and see if anybody's watching. I start to laugh from the thumb. Nostalgia, outdated, Gucci, cool novelty, is that the same? Can't you hear it down? Just stop it alone and it's there for the chugging of aim. I really love those moments that are wicked absurd. And I sit there watching her mouth in all my words. Within the range of radio frequencies, the song is transferred for you and me. Listen to the sound of a broken heart, flowing from my transistor radio. Listen to the sounds of a broken heart, born from a transistor radio. Listen to the sounds of a broken heart, born from a transistor radio. Listen to the sounds of the transistor radio.
Okay, that was a band from Chicago called the Methadones, with one of my very favorite songs by them called Transistor Radio. Shout out to Dan Vapid, who is a member of Punk Rock Foodies Radio. I love that song. And this is Brian Reinhardt. I'm back here with all 4 members. We've been rejoined by Skate Rat. What's up?
Welcome, Skate Rat.
What's up? What's up?
What was going on? We saw you out there talking to the cops. What happened?
Skate Rat. Skate Rat Lives Matter.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're back. We are talking about... what are we talking about this week, Xander?
We're talking about food poisoning.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorite topics.
I figured it would be. You like gas station sushi, so I assumed this would be... This is the Brian Show.
This would be a Reinhardt heavy episode.
Those are always the best episodes. I've had food poisoning a few times, and it's always from questionable eating habits, which you'd think as many times as it's happened, like, oh, maybe he'll alter the way he eats, but no, not really. So, but what I will say to the millions of fans we have out there is there's nothing wrong with gas station food, but two things you want to stay away from: sushi and just tuna fish. Tuna fish sandwiches, like the tuna salad sandwiches or whatever it is. Like chicken salad is fine, whatever, but not the tuna salads. Don't eat those. Don't.
Your stomach must be so tough, bro.
Dude, I'm like iron stomach. And and look, let's face it, it's delicious. But a couple hours later, I had a pretty rough story. We'll get into the stories later, but I had some pretty bad things that have happened to me before. But it's my own fault, you know.
I would think, you know, I would, if fish, like fish, like in a situation like a gas station, I would stay away from. But like the mayonnaise, I mean, even like if it was chicken salad, there's mayonnaise.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like if you got fish and mayonnaise, it's like two wrongs make a right. You know, like maybe that's like, oh, then it's cool, you know, because how can
they'll cancel each other out?
Yeah,
both
like
bad,
Mr. Burns.
Then it's got to be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come
you're like Mr. Burns, dude. It's just like everything. You got everything, but it's all so balanced. It's
Three
bad.
Stooges syndrome, they call it. Woo,
Yes.
Well, but I do have to say, though, like, tuna fish, you can eat warm. You know what I mean? They sell pouches of the shit. You can eat it right out of the pouch. If you add mayonnaise can get warm. Mm-hmm. Now, the tricky part, I think, is that when they start adding onion, if you ever put an onion in the fridge that maybe you didn't cover, like, quite so well, and this is probably why dumbasses think they can, like, put them on their feet.
I've got 4 in my fridge right now that look pretty gnarly.
but yeah, they totally absorb, like, anything around them. So if you put an onion in anything, like, really, if there's any bacteria in there, I think at any point it's probably, like, hanging out with that onion.
So are you saying that
it's not the mayonnaise that makes you sick.
So it's something chemically happens when you add the onion.
I don't know if it's a chemical reaction or what. I do know that the bacteria that makes you sick usually is hanging out in the onion, not the mayonnaise. It's not usually the mayonnaise that's the main suspect.
So the onion's a trigger, though.
That sounds like something we'd have to ask a scientist.
If only we knew a scientist.
Maybe we should ask Sheena. Sheena?
Fuck off, Xander.
I can't remember if I had originally heard it on like Mythbusters or something, but it was somewhere where they were like, let's refute, let's see, you know, is it really mayonnaise? Because they did like chicken salad, tuna salad, you know, all that shit. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, you know, that makes a little bit of sense. I mean, I still don't understand why you'd put one on your foot when you're sick, but like I have seen them in my fridge like, oh yeah, hey, look, an hour later we're super gross.
Well, okay, so think about this. Mayonnaise is sold on the shelf. It's not refrigerated.
Warm.
In the grocery store.
Yeah.
However, once you open it, you need to refrigerate it. So I'm assuming that, you know, keeping it warm after it's already, like, it's obviously like vacuum sealed, so there's nothing that might grow.
Have you ever worked in a restaurant? I know it's probably been a little while, but last summer, it's hot as shit. No, but the one place I worked here is like the biggest restaurant ever. They do catering and shit, and it was so hot in this place in the summer, and I was amazed that I was like, oh, y'all just leave your like ketchup on, like ketchup, cool, you know, whatever. I don't eat it, but the fucking mayonnaise and shit was still sitting out on the shelf every night when I left. You know, when I closed, when I opened it, was there in the morning too, just sitting out. So yeah, those little squeezy bottles of Hellman. Now I'm guessing the squeezy bottle probably helps a little. But
kind of like a seal.
So even after you open it, you can leave it out, but I personally keep mine in the fridge, you know. But
I think if it's exposed to the air, that might be. If it's exposed to the air, that might be the what does it.
Well,
you ever had like a glob on the lid?
And getting a coffee, and then they've got like the little creamer packets. I mean, that's fucking milk. That's cream.
Yeah.
You know? But they're not refrigerated. They're not sitting in ice a lot of times. Like
they come shipped to you warm. Yeah.
I mean,
here's my theory about what happened to me and my travails, my galactic travels with food poisoning. Is I've had plenty of seafood products and plenty with mayonnaise, and I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem comes once you get that stamp on there that says 7-Eleven. For some reason, that logo, there's some kind of chemical or toxin in the logo that gets into the meat. And then it's like, oh shit, you got that 7-Eleven sickness.
That's like the only breakfast sandwich from a gas station I can eat is 7-Elevens. Their microwaves are the shit. That thing's a tank.
What kind of sandwich did you have? 7-Eleven. Got a 7-Eleven with mayonnaise.
It's funny because as soon as you said stamp, I'm thinking like the sell by date or the best by date. And I've got my fucking grandmother is like, she's got to be probably awesome at Tetris because she has a refrigerator that is packed fucking solid. So it's like 3D Tetris.
Every centimeter is utilized.
And yeah, but she buys the same shit constantly. And she'll pull out, like, people will come over and she'll, like, probably try to set up, like, a charcuterie tray. And she'll pull out these little fucking nubs of cheese and she'll cut the blue off of it and all the fucking mold. And she'll put this, like, little, like, thing of Parmesan cheese because people are going to try to eat that little bit, And, like, and she just, I will not eat at her house. I refuse to eat at her house. My parents refuse to eat at her house. She left fucking chicken.
She made it this far.
At her house. My parents stopped at her house one time on their way up to my great grandmother's house, and my dad smelled something, and it was just something they thought, oh, something may have died. There could be a mouse somewhere, whatever. Right? He goes out into the garage to throw out some recyclables, and it was just really like bad. She had pulled out some fucking chicken and put it in the garage to thaw out. Well,
in the
garage?
It was
like 65 degrees out, even though it was December. But it was still like 65 degrees. And it was just rotting away. And they threw it out, and she got so pissed at them because they saw her on the way back. And they were like, you have no fucking clue what's wrong. And she's old, so she can't smell, she can't taste. Yeah. And she gets food poisoning like all the fucking time, and she makes excuses. It's like, it's because it's your fucking cooking and your food. Like, you suck.
The CDC needs to go hang out at her house and kind of give it a scrub down, it sounds like.
It'd be fun to play a game of, like, see what who can find the most, like, expired expiration date.
Oh my god, they do that! My dad does that! My aunt and uncle will be there with my mom and dad, and they go through the fridge and they find the oldest shit. They found shit that was like 5 years old.
Oh my god, that's worse than meat.
Okay, now my uncle and aunt are like real pains in the asses when it comes to that shit. Like, it's like if the use by date is, today, if it's not used, it's in the garbage tomorrow. But there's some things that it's not used by because it's going to make you sick. It's used by because it loses, like, flavor.
Or just purchase by. As long as you've already purchased it, it's in your fridge, you're good.
Mike does milk from the purchase by date without regards to when he opened it. So he doesn't go by the, like, once you open it, you have 7 days or 10 days or whatever they say, depending on what you bought. He's like, no, it says it's good till fucking March. And I'm like, it's January. It doesn't work that way.
No. You'll have cottage
let me
cheese
tell you
before
this.
you know it.
Hand to God, we used to change the fucking dates on, company products that we brought into the grocery store. Bacon, we'd have bacon that was out of date. I'd stand in the cooler with my little brother and some nail polish remover and Q-tips, and we'd rub those dates off and then re-stamp them with, like, the fucking stamps that you get, like, at the library.
You guys are fucking dorks, man. That's awesome. That is hilarious. That is dedication. That is dedication.
If the vacuum seal isn't broken, it's still fucking good.
Yeah.
People would. We had our fucking boss. This dude, man. This was a fucking character. He's dead now, but if he was alive, I would have to get his ass on this show because he was amazing. He would buy. He'd get a phone call from this guy, Lou. And so we would always refer to the meat as Lou meat because we knew it was, like, about to go out of date.
Yeah.
And that's what he'd hear him on the phone. He'd be like, yeah, what do you got? Yeah? Well, 7 cents a pound. No, I don't want you to eat your nuts on this, son.
7 cents.
But that stuff's going to be expired in 3 days.
7 cents a pound. Oh my god.
And he'd get the shit in, and then we'd be in the fucking cooler, racing the stamps, re-stamping it, and he'd still sell it on sale. Whatever it was,
wait a minute. Okay. I misunderstood. You did it for him. You weren't doing it. I misunderstood. Like he had you doing
pranking the store.
No. It was at the grocery store. We were doing it to sell the shit.
Okay, so he had you doing it so you guys could sell it.
Yeah. No,
okay, I misunderstood. I thought you guys were doing it so that
do it.
I thought you guys were doing it so you could buy it at a discount or something. I misunderstood. I'm a little drunk today, ladies and gentlemen. So, all right. Well, that makes more sense. That's cool.
Yeah. But so even that, I mean, and I don't know. Maybe people got sick. I don't know. What do I care?
You probably killed a lot of people, Xander.
He was under direct orders, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
He wasn't a lone wolf there.
That chain of command.
But okay, so who's gotten some sick? Food poisoning.
Should I go ahead and tell my story?
Yeah.
Go for it, Brian.
All right.
I find it hard to believe that you only have one.
I've got two good ones. One of them's not a really good story. Just I was at a friend's party and he had some food catered, and as I'm eating the sliced meats, like at 1 a.m, I'm just like, dude, this looks a little weird. He's like, no, it's fine. I woke up the next morning, thought I was hungover, and it's not a good story. It's just a lot of vomiting, really not good. But this is a little different. I need my beer for this. We've all been sick before. Have you guys had food poisoning, like actual food poisoning?
Yes. Oh, yes, without a fucking doubt.
It is.
I lived in Florida with seafood. And
violent. It is violent sickness. It's like we've all had the flu. We've all had, I'll save it. But it's fucking violent shit.
I don't like it when people are like the next day, like, oh, I don't feel good now. I wonder if I have food poisoning. I'm like, you don't understand how that works at all.
You wouldn't be walking. You wouldn't even be standing.
And you wouldn't make it 13 hours till the next day.
You'd be laying on the ground,
kicking
and screaming. Okay, so about 2 years ago, I was making plans with some good friends of mine from high school that I hadn't seen in several years. Off With Their Heads was playing locally at a little club with with good craft beer bar. I was very excited. We were planning it for like 4 or 5 months in advance. This is something that we put together. So we go that night, Saturday night in Lombard, Illinois, and I show up and I'm sitting down at the table. It's about 2 hours before the show. We're sitting at a table with me and a couple of my buddies that I hadn't seen in years. We're telling old stories. I'm looking at the menu of the beer list. I'm just like, this. They just had the most amazing beers. I'm like, this is gonna be one of the best nights of my life. I can't wait, and I'm gonna see Off With Their Heads in a little bit. I love that band. And about a half hour in, I'm like, God, I'm not really feeling real well. I feel like I got a little gas or something. So I excuse myself from the table. I'm like, hey guys, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I go in the bathroom, and I'm not gonna get too graphic, but I mean, imagine the worst diarrhea you've ever had in your life and double that. I don't know.
Not gonna get too graphic.
Yeah, and look, I've never been pregnant, Jen, so I don't know how it goes with that. But
it's the opposite. You won't shit for a week.
Yeah, it lasted all of 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I'm better. I'm gonna go back to the table, and I go to the guys. And I'm like, oh man, my stomach's not feeling good. I think I'm good now. And then all of a sudden, the beer started not tasting good, which is a red flag for me. When all of a sudden I'm drinking like one of the best, I'm drinking like a barrel-aged old Rasputin. I'm just like, this is one of my favorite beers, and it's not tasting good. So I'm like, I'm going to go back into the bathroom. I feel like I'm going to throw up. And I go in, and just the most violent, projectile, horrible, exorcist situation that ever happened was just going on in there. And I got most of it in the toilet, but some of it was in the sink, and there were people standing there seeing it happen because it was at like a really shitty punk club with no stalls, and I was in there for about 10 minutes, and I go back out, and I go to my buddies who, and again, we've been planning this for months. I hadn't seen them in years. These are friends of mine from high school. I go to them, I'm like, look, I know I put all this together, and I know I dragged all you guys out there, but I have to go home because I'm pretty sure I have food poisoning. And they're like, okay. And I went home. On the 10-minute drive home between this club and where I lived at the time, 10-minute ride on the highway, I had to pull over 4 times on the busiest highway in Chicago to throw up next to the highway in the dark. It was bad. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it home. and it was because of a fucking 7-Eleven tuna fish sandwich. And the worst part was another one of my buddies who I hadn't seen in a while. He was a little bit late and he hadn't gotten there yet by the time I left. So he's texting me later on when he gets there, like, where you at? Where you at? I brought chocolate-covered bacon that my wife made. I'm like, oh, fuck, I missed out on this. You know what I mean? He pulled out all the stops, dude. He had homemade chocolate-covered bacon, and I missed out because of a stupid $1.99 sandwich that I could have easily avoided at 7-Eleven. And
very easily avoidable.
Oh, man.
Food, the food poisoning, when you hear people who say, oh, I think I have food poisoning.
The next day.
Yeah, my stomach's a little weird. I might have food poisoning. No. You know if you have food poisoning.
I have an asshole aunt that I just remember my mom, like, the red meat in my house. So here's the tip, guys. You eat in my parents' house, red meat, it's deer. It's venison.
Okay.
99%.
Yeah, my parents too.
Yeah, so my mom made something and wouldn't tell my aunt that it was venison because she's, a twat about that kind of shit. The next day, she asked her, she said, how was the, how'd you like the dinner last night? Oh, it was really good. She goes, oh, well, it was deer meat. Oh, yeah, I thought my stomach felt a little funny after.
Whatever.
Fuck you.
No, if you're not sure if you have food poisoning, that means you don't have food poisoning. Because it is the most violent sickness that we've all been sick, we've all had flus, but Jen and I, just skate rat. I'm always going to do that.
Stupid Facebook made me change my name.
We were talking about how bad it is when you get actual food poisoning, just the violent spasms and
and 15, 30 minutes we're talking. Like most of the time I barely make it home when I leave a restaurant after eating and I'm like,
laying on the bathroom floor with a pulled muscle in my diaphragm from from vomiting so hard. And my body's just well, you're just gonna die here tonight. I'm in the bathroom and
this is it. It's over. This is how it ends with one ass in the shower and my mouth over the toilet.
This is how it ends. And you're laying there just completely helpless. Okay, if a fucking bear gets in here, I'm dead because I can't run. I'm totally helpless and powerless. That is food sickness. That's what that is. Food poisoning. So anyway, what else is going on?
I think my worst time seriously was when I had just started college. It was my first year after high school, and I was renting a little river cottage here and just going to the local community college. And I worked at Longhorn, went over to the ale house afterwards, and they had beers and seafood. So we had shrimp, fried shrimp maybe, I don't even know. Yeah, not. The shrimp was towards the end because we were got to soak up the beer a little bit before we drive home. So the shrimp was at the end. I think it was 12 minutes to my house. Got home, new boyfriend, of course, right? We both ate the shrimp.
Make a great impression.
It was not like a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom. It was almost like a studio. Like a mother-in-law suite. Kind of like a mother-in-law suite, really. It was the only one not attached to the house.
No privacy.
Yeah, so sure. Yeah, so there's a pass-through, between all the rooms, and there's one bathroom. So yeah, at one point, we were banging on the door with each other, and I was like, you know what? Look, I'm sorry, we're gonna get to know each other really fast here. Move the fuck over. I totally threw up in the shower, and he was sitting on the toilet. And we still dated for 3 years. Yes, we both got so fucking sick.
Oh, that is way worse than my story. Oh no.
Yep.
That is a special kind of intimacy that you guys got out of the way right away.
And he lived across the river, but it was a 45-minute drive. We couldn't even go 10 minutes. We both passed out on the bathroom floor, laying on the linoleum. Every time I hear that NoFX song, I think of that. It supports my head. It's cool to the touch. Holy shit! I think I made it to the kitchen. A few feet away. Made it to the kitchen because there was more room to.
Well, I guess I've never actually had food poisoning.
When I got it both times, well, all 3 times, but the last 2, I was throwing up so much, and you got to eat crackers, you got to drink soda. I couldn't even keep water down.
You can't even keep water down.
So you're just you're getting dehydrated, and your body is telling you get some fluids in me. And then as soon as you give your body fluids, your body's like, fuck you, I don't want those
What
fluids.
are you doing?
Yeah, God, I told you.
Why is that
no.
so cold?
So you're just like, you're in this weird delirium where you're dying, you're dying in a bunch of
You're
different
hot,
ways.
sweaty, and you're clammy, like freezing.
God.
Yeah, so fun. Yeah.
I dodged a bullet once when I was about like 19 in junior college. We would surf Baja, Mexico a lot, and go down there for like 2 days at a time, and hustle back up. Like between classes or whatever. And one time there was 4 of us that went, and we all had tacos from the same place, and we came back, and within it's about 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive. And as soon as we got back, the phone call started coming in. First, my one buddy, dude,
no.
I'm done. I'm sick. I'm like thrown up. And then my next buddy calls, dude, are you getting it too? And I'm like, no, not yet. My third buddy calls, but these are all like within 20 minutes of each other. And my third buddy Andrew calls, and he finally got it too. So I'm just like, oh shit, here we go. Here we go. And it never came to me, dude. They had the most gnarly case of Montezuma's revenge.
Because you're Mexican. Because you're Mexican. That's why your
it's in your blood.
I eat the spicy chili on purpose. That kills the toxins, dude. It's a smart play. So
those street tacos out there are insane, though. Shit, I couldn't
so
resist.
good.
So you got a few shots of tequila, and you're like, oh my god, everywhere I walk smells like tacos. I'm in heaven.
Especially the kind when you're just like making eye contact with the chef and just going like, one more.
Yeah.
And they're just like, boom. Boom.
Heaven forbid it's late enough, you're the only one out there and stuff at certain times. Yeah, so you just sit there and talk to the guy for an hour. You need taco after taco. You get
and they're like,
beer.
oh, you had 10 tacos? Oh, it's $3.50.
Wow.
They got me at the
Yeah,
club.
but 7
show
tacos are $5. That's
when you pay entry for the club, they give you like a free shot of tequila, and then they would give you a free cocktail. My dumb ass, I was like, all right, free booze. I'd get to the bar, and everybody was like, what are you doing? Why are you going to order a fucking vodka cranberry when you can't drink, you're not supposed to drink the ice?
Oh, yeah.
So everybody else was like, beer or shots, beer or shots, beer or shots. I was like, oh, great, I'm going to get wasted.
Yeah. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, dude, Mexico's so scary these days, and you can't. I'd love to go down there and take the family, but it ain't like it was when I was a kid. We used to go down there. I mean, it's not the food part. It's all the other fucking bad guys down there. But man, I miss going down there, especially the guys with the big sombrero that would shoot the tequila in your mouth and shake your head.
Oh no, he picked me up and spun me around. He threw me over his shoulder, took me out to the dance, and he's blowing a whistle in my ear the whole time.
Yeah, the whistle.
Yeah,
threw me over his shoulder and then spun me around on the dance floor.
Oh, my buddy got me at the Giggling Marlin once. That's a place down in Cabo San Lucas. And he went to the bathroom, and I'm sitting there, having my beer, and it's still early in the night, and dude, 2 security guards just grabbed me by both arms. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? And I start talking to him in Spanish, like, dude, what the fuck? I'm not like a total tourist, like, dude, what's going on? And then I realized where they're taking me to, and they have, in the corner, they have, this, harness that they hang you from your feet, give you the shot, and then throw you around, so you're just, hanging upside down like a fish,
Oh, no. That sounds like a hell on earth. That would give me
that's our Mexican moment of the day.
That was one of the most Mexican moments of my life.
That would give me food poisoning. Oh, my goodness.
That's a good idea with the swing, though, man. I watched the guy who picked me up try to pick up another girl. It didn't work out. He had to set her down. Spring break!
So, Xander, you've never had food poisoning? You've never had food poisoning?
I thought I did once, but
that means you haven't. Yeah, if you're not sure, you have not.
Well, so it was Christmas time, and I was visiting my parents, and it was Amelia's birthday, which is the 23rd, and she wanted to go to the Cheesecake Factory. So we went to the Cheesecake Factory. I ordered their burger with the mac and cheese on top.
Yum.
Boom. And I spent the next 3 days pissing out of my asshole every 10 minutes. Ugh. I'd never threw up.
Yeah, 3 days.
Constantly running to the bathroom.
Shouldn't last that long. That's something else.
That's an intestinal virus.
Well, and then I thought about that back when I was in college, and I would go back to my hunting camp for buck season. I would be shitting like crazy because I hadn't eaten a salad in 3 months, and then I eating salads every night. This was totally different than that. I was eating shitty and drinking beer up to that point still. So it wasn't like my diet changed and so everything just went. I wasn't sick, didn't feel sick, but man, I was just, like I said, I was pissing out of my asshole. And it was raw just from fucking wiping it so much.
Sounds like you might have had a tapeworm, bruh.
3 days. It was terrible.
That's rough, man. And let me just say, this is one of the most appetizing episodes that we've ever done.
Yeah, I know I've gotten food poisoning. I've had where you're puking on one side, coming out the back end too. But I don't remember what put me there. I just can't. I've been trying to think about it all day, but I know I've gotten food poisoning. I just don't know what did it.
I think that one with that guy was definitely my worst, not only for embarrassment, but just for uncomfortable facts.
Yeah.
But I have had one or two others where something I personally have made later, I was like, man, that, I wonder if maybe I should have made that yesterday. It doesn't make you wholeheartedly sick,
Maybe
but
I
as soon as you eat it a few minutes later, you're like, oh man, that's weird. I don't,
And the worst part about when you get sick after eating, whether it's food poisoning or whether you just drank too much and are puking, is that food, you'll always remember that food, and it takes so long for that to get out of your, just the smell of it.
Dude.
Sick. And
Even if it's food that you've otherwise loved 100 times, it will ruin it for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, one time in high school, I got blitzed and was puking my guts out off of Dollar Chinese food and gin. And to this day,
What a combination.
I've never had gin again. Cannot do. I'll never drink gin again.
Southern Comfort. I couldn't even smell. When I was bartending, I couldn't even smell it. I had to reach way out to pour it because if I smelled it, it was going to be
Jägermeister for me.
That was one night at a frat house.
I had a lot of good times with Jägermeister, but I had one or two bad nights, and at that point, my brain just took over and said, "I'm not going to let you drink that anymore."
All right, well, let's play some music.
Yeah, Jägermeister's a good segue because that is, for some people, they take that when they're sick. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll come back, and we'll discuss foods that we eat when we're sick. Skate Rat, would you like to send us off with a little something here?
Sure, what's up? Let's take a song from one of my favorite movies, Repo Man, and let's do Pablo Picasso by the Burning Sensations.
Some people try to pick up girls, get called an asshole. This never happened to Pablo Picasso. Why, he could walk down the street. Girls could not resist his stare. Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. Not like you. Now the girls will turn the color of an avocado when he drive down the street in his Eldorado. Why, he was only 5'3". Girls could not resist his stare. Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. That's New York. Some people try to pick up girls get called an asshole. This did not happen to Pablo Picasso. Why? He could walk down the street. Girls could not resist his stare. Subsequently, Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. Nope. Not around here. Not like you. to turn the color of an avocado when he dropped down the street in his Eldorado. Why, he was only 5'3". Girls could not resist his stare. Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. Not like you.
Hey, this is Miguel from Teenage Bottle Rocket, and you're listening to Punk Rock Foodie Radio.
I'm writing a letter to my baby. My baby's so far away. I'm writing a letter to my baby. And this is what it says. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. I'm writing a letter to my baby. I'm sending it today. I'm writing a letter to my baby. And this is what it says. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. I'm writing a love song to whomever cares to look my way. I'm writing a love song to whomever, and this is what it says. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da.
All right, welcome back. That was the Smoking Popes with a song called Writing a Letter. And they're from Chicago, because every song I bring up is from Chicago, because I'm an idiot. And this is Brian Reinhardt, and I'm back with the other people on this show. And I'm going to hand it off to Xander, because I'm kind of drunk.
All right. So, yeah. So, so you get sick, and now you're sick. So now what the fuck are you gonna do? Well, you got to eat something, so you can't just get ripped like Jesus abs from puking all the time. You got to end up punishing that stuff. But so, like, what are some of the foods that you guys like to go for when you are sick, and you kind of have to force yourself to eat and just like pray?
Well, it depends on if it's food poisoning, you're not going to eat. But if it's just if you're sick, if I got a cold.
Yeah.
Or like a low
If it's food poisoning,
flu.
it's just broth, basically.
Yeah.
Swallow
If
that.
anything, if water, anything. But I know on a previous episode I talked about, and actually when I interviewed Sheena, her recipe for garlic soup is really good when you're sick. It's just loaded with garlic and cream. Yeah, it's very, very good when you're sick. It's got magical healing properties. You don't have to talk to her about how to make it because I don't remember. I just eat it.
Around here, we make a lot of soups. And I say we, but it's usually my wife that does them. She's got a mean recipe for lemon chicken orzo soup. And we've had that a few times in the last couple of weeks because it's gotten cold here in California, almost like 55 one night.
Oh my God, that's got to be rough.
You had to put socks on with your shorts,
God, you
right?
have to wear longer board shorts.
That's what we do.
It's crazy. You had to put the hoodie actually on, not just wear the hoodie. Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
That's crazy.
But no, she makes that. She also does a copycat of the Zuppa Toscana from Olive Garden, which is pretty solid, which she makes it at home. And albondiga soup, which Mexican meatball soup is. These are all for when you're not. When you're not food poisoning sick, but sick and trying to nurse back to health because the albondiga soup nice meatballs with some like fresh veggies and stuff. That hits the spot, man. That does the body good.
Mm-hmm.
But
Jewish penicillin.
yeah.
But obviously not Italian or Mexican soup. Jewish penicillin.
Is that matzo soup then?
Matzo ball soup. There you go. Yeah, but that's just a chicken broth, like soup. You know.
Grilled gefilte fish.
I like to do a hard-boiled egg and like a piece of toast with a little bit of butter. And I feel like if I can keep that down, then I'm good to go with maybe something a little bit meatier.
Sounds like good hangover food.
I do sometimes have to skip the butter. Like hangover, I can totally do grease and butter, and so every once in a while, if my stomach is still turning, I'm like, maybe dry toast would be good. Because I have every once in a while like buttered toast and then made like a second set of toast and been like, we'll just eat this a little plain first. And
you just need the carbs, something to absorb the toxins that we keep talking about, those sickness toxins.
Yeah. The hard-boiled egg's a good idea, though, shit, because then you got protein in there.
Yeah, you know what? Hard-boiled eggs, I think that was just because my mom would always, like, give that to us when we were sick as a kid. There's hard-boiled eggs and then, like, Jell-O. Jell-O was always huge. Like,
oh, God, I love Jell-O.
Shit,
yeah.
my mom gave us medicine. Nobody heard that? Wasn't that funny? Wah, wah, wah.
There's a lot of noise here in the Vicious Pig today.
Yeah.
but, like, and then, you know, Coke with crushed ice. Like, that was always...
See, I do sometimes favor Coke over ginger ale. It depends on exactly what's wrong with me.
Do you guys ever have the craving for the little like popcorn ice?
Yes.
Oh, those little tiny...
Yes, that shit that like it's like at the movie theater.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I remember when my wife was pregnant with I think kid number 2. Man, she would. I would have to go down to AM PM because that was the only place that had it and go get crushed ice for it. But yeah, that stuff's good, man.
I haven't found a place with a working Slurpee machine yet. I've been looking for like a month straight. I'm so every time I get gas, I'm like, well, I might as well go inside and look for an icy machine.
Dude, and as hot as it is there right now, oh, that would be perfect.
No kidding. I'm like, oh my god, can I just have a time machine to 1985? They'd be on every corner. I could get a slush puppy
Yeah,
in
what
blue.
happened? They're less
Dude,
and less
slush
visible.
puppies.
Slush puppy was the shit.
Yes.
Yes.
In college, my roommate had a slush puppy mug, the plastic one,
Yeah.
and we scraped off the S, so it said lush puppy.
Nice.
We used to use that for beer parties all the time.
That's awesome.
Did any of you guys have, when we were kids, like in the 80s, there was a thing that you could get at home that would make you could make your own like slushy kind of like shaved ice kind of thing. It was Snoopy, and it was
Snoopy
the
snow
dog.
cone.
It was the snow
Yeah,
cone. It
dude,
was
I
the
got one
dog
upstairs
house.
right now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Those
Snoopy
things were-
snow cone.
Those
They
things
still
were
make them.
rad.
He looks different though.
They reissued them. They reissued them, and they had to recall them because like the little blades were falling out and like falling into the snow cones. Like the little blades inside the thing were falling out. So, but the old school ones, like that's one of my earliest memories was the Snoopy that we'd put the ice in the dog house, and it would make a little snow cone for you. Those were perfect when I wasn't feeling good. Like whenever I would see when I see one of those every once in a while, it just activates a part of my brain that it hasn't run in a long time. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like that was the shit. Me and Snoopy. I didn't even like that fucking cartoon. What are we talking about?
Yeah, the Snoopy snow cone. We used to do that now, and we use that Mio shit, the Mio flavoring. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good
So
idea.
then it actually like looks,
The color and
yeah, different flavors.
spend $35 on syrup.
Yeah.
Gives you energy too, right?
You can get the ones with caffeine in them, yeah. But I wouldn't do that with the girls.
Oh, well, you should.
I don't need
That's
that.
just for you.
You go to school.
Maybe a little
Slam
whiskey
this.
in the bottom.
You're getting up. You're going to school. Finish this bottle.
Oh, whiskey.
You're the bus driver's problem now.
Yeah, but anything else, Skater, anything that you go for when you're not feeling well and not food poisonings, like just...
Honestly, at any time, if I don't feel good, like, really, even no matter what it is, even if it's a fever, I will eat saltine crackers. Like, just plain.
Yeah.
I used to put butter on them. I don't do that so much anymore. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I
just
used to make
dry-
butter sandwiches.
Dry saltines
Yeah, but
are
no-
very delicious.
But now they make these mini things, so they're like if you took one and cut it into 4, you'd have 4 little minis.
okay,
So
so more
these
like
mini things are
bite-size?
fucking awesome, and you put them in your soup. You don't have to crumble your cracker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and if you don't want to,
Because
like,
crumbling was so fucking difficult.
no, but I don't like them to just float in the
uneven.
soup. I want to put them in there like one at a time. So I'm like, ooh, okay, now it's done. Take it out.
So
you
it
don't want to
fulfills
get
your
it soggy.
OCD.
Yeah.
That
And
reminds
I
me.
honestly, even though they're tiny, I still dip them. I'm like, ooh, dip.
That reminds
I
me.
like tiny things. I don't know why. Like, I will cookie cut my food.
Oyster
Yeah.
crackers.
But
oyster
saltines,
crackers are
like,
great.
yeah, oyster crackers are good too.
Yeah.
I'll just eat the little
Well, they're
package.
the same.
They are the same, but they're
Yeah.
a little more bite-sized because that's sometimes you need smaller bites there, Xander.
Dude, my grandma used to give me a tortilla with butter on it, like a cooked tortilla on top of the stove real
yeah.
quick, and some butter. Oh, dude, I'm like craving that right now. It sounds good.
Yeah.
That does sound good. And why does that sound so good? It's so fucking simple and easy.
Because it's got two of the major food groups, tortillas and butter.
I usually fry up tortillas for our salads. We're doing a salad tonight. I was thinking I had wontons in there, wonton wrappers. Maybe I would fry up wontons.
That's one thing about doing this show. I'm always hungry.
I know,
by the
I'm like,
time
I'm
it's done. It's
starving.
like, ah,
Let's see. You guys have some good ideas.
yeah.
It's weird. I start the show drunk and then I finish the show hungry.
I'm glad we didn't talk about that first segment second, because then I probably wouldn't have an appetite.
Yeah. So anyway,
But
so here I was. I was
Brian's
puking.
story-
I was puking and shitting at the same time, and then I had to pop a zit. It was crazy, dude.
I actually got hang time off the toilet.
Speaking of popping a zit, I had a great idea for a commercial one time when I was in college for McDonald's. It would just show like these like a guy in a McDonald's uniform like walk into the men's room and then just kind of like showing his face as like taking a piss at the urinal. Walking over and it like scans the sign that says employees must wash their hands, and then him washing his hands under the water, and then just him looking at himself in the mirror, and then like popping his zit like right onto the mirror and walking back out. And
After he...
but he washed his hands after he was done pissing. You know?
Wait a minute. You wanted this to be a commercial? What would that be a commercial for?
Well, it would
Mirrors?
be like a Saturday Night Live type commercial.
Oh, okay, I was
Like,
gonna say, like, what is that possibly advertising? That's gross.
for McDonald's.
Well, good news. I'm not hungry.
Those
anymore.
Europeans have some great commercials.
Oh, man, good God.
That's when I worked at that TV studio in college.
Did that TV studio have a restaurant? Because you worked at every restaurant. You were the cook at the TV studio.
I was all over the place.
Yeah.
All right, well, why don't we get to some music again here, and we've got KJ Jensen of Chicks Dig It will be calling in.
Woo!
I'm very excited to talk to him.
I remember you.
Favorite bands. I actually, when I was working at the radio station in college,
When you were the cook at the radio station.
CD. I stole a Chicks Dig It CD and took it home because they were on Sub Pop, and I thought Sub Pop, that's what Nirvana was on, so let me check it out, and I loved it, and been in love with them ever since. So I'm actually, I feel like I'm going to be like Chris Farley on the Chris Farley show when I talk to.
Your first question should be like, do you remember when you were from Canada?
All right, well, here's a band out of San Diego. I recently worked with them on a video. They're touring right now. They might be coming to a town near you, so definitely check them out. The band is Cast Off, and this song is called Certain as the Sun on Punk Rock Foodies Radio.
Woo!
So sure, right from the start, so very certain that these things not fall apart. No measure of doubt crept into our minds. Persistent confidence has left us all but blind. Can't we be certain hard to make it better for these kids. Work through the pain. We knew that the rain would only last so long before it stopped again. Can we be as certain as the sun? 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 We might soon step away from this innocent impression of our lives that we all had. But see this process a gain of perspective that will help us forge ahead on the next path. Ever since I first saw you, I knew you were the one for me. I just want you to know how I feel. That's why I'm standing here at 3 a.m. out in your front yard, singing you a love song on a heart-shaped guitar. And I hope you hear me, and I hope you care, and you put on a smile and you come downstairs. Dude, you're freaking me out, seriously. What the fuck's wrong with you?
And that was Masked Intruder with Heart-Shaped Guitar, and you are listening to Punk Rock Foodies Radio. On the phone with us now is Chicks Dig It frontman, KJ Jansen. KJ, how you doing?
I'm good, Xander. How are you doing?
I'm great. For those who don't know, Chicks Dig It actually started as a t-shirt, correct?
That's correct. That is very correct. Well, we started as a group of friends who made a t-shirt and then slowly became a band. The people who bought the t-shirts off us sort of forced us to start the band.
So how long after you sold the t-shirts did the band then evolve after that?
I think it took about a year, and we were actually a lot of them. We all worked at different places. Like, two of us worked at this restaurant. Like, it's a pretty popular restaurant here in Calgary. And so we had some loyal customers, and it was Calgary's first patio, and it was actually kind of a hip place. So there was lots of people with money, and of course we're an oil city, so lots of people with cash hanging around. Well, this is the way it used to be. Right now, oil's not doing so well, but so we would take advantage of those people with extra cash in their pockets, and we always kept t-shirts with us, and so we sold them shirts. And the rest is history, I guess.
So you guys formed the band, and you just celebrated 25 years of, I guess, your first gig, or is that?
Yeah, that's right. 25 years going out. So it was about a year before that we kind of started, with the shirts, and then we had one kind of practice in there, which was, I remember it was in August of '90. We had like a practice where we it was kind of for most of us the first time we ever picked up instruments or anything, so we just fooled around, tried the drums, tried the bass or whatever, and I was actually supposed to be the drummer anyway when the band started, and then I ended up becoming the singer. So yeah, it was a long time ago, it's tough to remember that.
Well, okay, so your first album came out on Sub Pop, which I remember. I actually was working at my college radio station, and I saw this CD sitting there, and I saw Sub Pop Records, and I thought, Sub Pop, they signed Nirvana. I'm going to pocket this CD and take it home and check it out, and I instantly just fell in love with the band. I thought the music was great, and you haven't let me down since, so thank you.
Cool, thanks.
But then after Sub Pop, you guys went to Honest Don's, which was is that kind of like a branch off of Fat Records, like?
Yeah, I think they kind of. I don't know what the whole motivation behind it was at the time, but they had that, and they had Pink and Black Records, and then after a while, I think they just decided to throw it all under the Fat label.
And so that first album was called Chicks Dig It, and then you guys re-recorded the album with another record label, and the rumor is that Sub Pop would not give you the masters to re-release it, so you guys had to just record.
Yeah, I think even Fat has contacted them to try and get the masters, and they wouldn't even respond to that. We tried to buy it back, they wouldn't sell it, and then we tried to buy copies just off of them to sell, and they would only sell them to us at like full retail price. So we're like, well, you know what? Let's screw these guys. Let's let's re-record it. And we had to wait till a certain date to do it, although it didn't turn out as good as we thought.
Yeah, the Chicks Dig It 2 definitely sounds much different than Chicks Dig It.
Yeah. Well, it was like 15 years later.
That's true.
And it was mostly the same band. Some songs are slower, some were faster, and yeah, it's I mean, I can see why people don't try and recreate albums they did. I mean, it's it's definitely got its own charm.
Yeah. Have you ever met Henry Rollins?
I have not met Henry Rollins.
Okay. For anybody,
and you know what? My mom has not met Henry Rollins either.
For anybody who doesn't know, Chicks Dig It has a song, Henry Rollins is no fun, and so just curious. So you've got this power stance when you play the guitar that is pretty wide. At least that's
it's not as wide as it used to be. 25 years. I get asked a lot for my knees. I had problems with my knees, and it's actually for a while there I had problems with my hips just from doing that.
Yeah.
So I've lessened the wide stance a little bit just to take care of the future KJ, because we see a lot of guys who are doing it before us who are having joint problems, and I don't want to be one of those guys. But I probably will anyway.
Well, so now you're doing you've been doing a lot of solo touring, just acoustic. Is that mostly just acoustic versions of Chicks Dig It songs, or do you have some KJ songs in there that we might see on a record someday?
Yeah, I actually have lots of songs that I think maybe aren't necessarily Chicks Dig It. They might be better just with an acoustic guitar, so I'm slowly working on those right now. Like, right now we're, working on Chicks Dig It stuff, so the solo stuff can kind of wait a little bit. But yeah, I've got lots of stuff. Winters are long and cold up here, and, you can stay inside and work on songs. So there's lots of songs. I just have to figure out, when and where to kind of finish them up.
That's great news. Some new Chicks Dig It stuff. The Safeway's Here We Come. When that came out, I was so excited. So anytime there's new Chicks Dig It, I'm stoked for it.
I think you're gonna like the new record.
Cool. There was a rumor going around for a little while that you were one of the members of Masked Intruder.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's not true.
Well, Masked Intruder are a very special band, and they're a band that I like a lot. But I can't, really comment on identities or pasts or anything about that band. There's a lot of things that, they like to keep secret.
Yes.
So I'm really not comfortable answering questions about Masked Intruder. Confirming or denying anything is, I end up giving away the sense of identity, and I don't want to do that.
Gotcha. So let's talk a little bit about food. You're from Canada, so I'm assuming poutine is one of your things.
Well, it's funny, we're like the United States, we're kind of wide, and I think where poutine is from, that would be like me saying, well, you're from the States, you must like Cajun food. Well, Cajun food is, from a specific part of the States, right? And poutine, is from Quebec, which is maybe 2 or 3 days drive if you drove like 24-hour days almost. It's a long ways away. But, we don't really have that much when it comes to Canadian cuisine. So poutine, that's a sad thing, but poutine might be the closest thing we have.
So there are some exotic animals up there, like, as far as, exotic compared to down in the States. You get, like, caribou and moose. I mean, we have moose down here, too, but I guess.
Yeah, I think, I guess, but really, in terms of cuisine, there's not much special up here. There's definitely great restaurants and everything like that, but, in terms of Canadian cuisine, poutine might be it. Beaver tails, I think that might be a Canadian. I don't know even.
Yes, I've had beaver tails, yeah. Those are just like donuts, basically.
Yeah, it's basically just a donut, so at the end of the day, really, French fries, gravy, and cheese curds, those are all things that, are famous.
Yeah.
Coming from other places. But putting them together is magical. But Quebec, I would say, is probably like Montreal specifically. Like, it's one of my favorite places to go just to eat. I would choose it over most, like New York or places in Europe even.
I've heard that from so many people that Montreal is just. And I've been to Montreal years ago when I was like 10 years old, so I don't really remember much. But so many people that we've interviewed have just raved about the food in Montreal. It's just amazing. So
yeah, and when you're 10 years old, like your palate hasn't developed yet, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And, but yeah, some of my favorite restaurants. I mean, I'm sure people, other people at FAT have talked about Maison Publique, one of the restaurants there.
Joey King talked to us about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that place is fantastic, and we were up there last year, the year before for Pizza Fest. Pizza is poutine pizza. I guess there's another Canadian cuisine. But yeah, just like endless restaurants and yeah, it's a really great city for that.
So do you do any cooking at home?
Yeah, I'm kind of actually the guy who does most of the cooking here. I don't know if I have any specialties, but it's my wife and I both we work shift work kind of thing, and we have 2 kids, so it usually sort of falls on who's home. Right. But with my schedule, it usually means that I'm home, so yeah, I do most of the cooking. Although the cooking is happening as we speak right now, and I'm not doing it.
What's one of your favorite meals to cook?
It's tough. I think we have a 6-year-old girl, and she's I guess toasted sandwiches a lot, like variations on the grilled cheese kind of thing.
Yeah.
And actually, when my wife is in a band too, or was in a band called the Riff Randalls from Vancouver, where they're one of my favorite bands. When we first met, she had moved to Calgary to live with me, which was quite a sacrifice. I don't know if you've ever been to Vancouver.
I have. It's beautiful.
Beautiful city, and Calgary's kind of a landlocked,
yeah,
kind of a Denver. Nothing wrong with that, but no Vancouver. And but the one way I was able to, keep her entertained was with our Foreman grill, and just sort of like doing stuff with the Foreman grill. And actually, there's a song about it. But so we had lots of tricks when it comes to sandwiches and the Foreman grill. That's about it.
Yeah. So you did say you've got 2 kids, so fatherhood must be a far change from when you were younger, touring and just hanging with.
It's actually not that much different. it's like being on tour without the drives. I think you're not sleeping much. You go to bed, you get super hammered. I'm just kidding about that. But like it's not a ton of sleep. There's a lot of like wrangling. People trying to get them together to get the next day going kind of thing. And it's, I would say, almost identical to touring.
People are shouting your name.
Yeah, angrily. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's great. So, I see you're going to be doing some shows with Ray from Teenage Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, he's coming up for a couple shows. We're doing Calgary here in Edmonton. And Edmonton's kind of a hidden gem. A lot of people, like I just did some shows up there with Joey and Walt Hamburger and Brian Wallstrom. And yeah, those shows are great, and those guys rave about Edmonton. And, so Edmonton's kind of this hidden gem. I think you should probably try and talk to somebody from Edmonton. I mean, have you done an interview with Ray yet?
Yeah, we just talked to Ray a couple weeks ago. Actually, we just talked to Walt this past week.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, Ray's new album looks like it's going to be pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, cool. I know he's a big fan of Edmonton, and Edmonton's another place which is super isolated, but there's a lot of great restaurants up there. A lot of stuff to do, and people are great. If you ever get a chance, I'd visit Edmonton. Edmonton has the biggest mall in the world, or maybe it's been surpassed. But for a while there, they had the biggest mall. So that's something, right?
Yeah. I guess you got to do something.
Doesn't take much more than that. Yeah, and you got to do something inside too. So there's like, huge water park in the there's even a skating rink in there and everything.
Yeah, and
Not really selling the city, am I?
sorry to see your Flames, even though they really kicked some major ass last night. But
yeah, I was actually supposed to go to the game and I got sick. I'm a bit I had the flu, but I'm actually not a Flames fan. I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan because I was born in Edmonton.
Then I guess I can apologize. I can apologize to the Oilers too. They haven't been.
Yeah, that's actually way worse because I mean it's been 10 years in a row and. We're I think the second last team for 5 or 6 years. It's I don't think there's ever been like this kind of terrible record in any NHL team. So.
But speaking of getting sick, we were talking on this episode about food poisoning, and have you ever had some major bad food poisoning ever?
Yeah, only once. It's funny, like we eat. When we're on tour, like food is, one of the most important things, and I think, if someone's going to come on tour with us, they have to eat too. And so wherever we go, we'll eat on the street, we'll eat in back alleys, we'll eat off of toilet seats, if it's good, right? And never gotten sick until like there's like a Chinese food place just 5 blocks from my house here in Calgary, and the sickest I've ever been, and we've eaten in some pretty dingy, gross places, and nothing, no problems. Yes, I have had food poisoning.
Yeah, that's the worst. All right, well, that's all I got for you, KJ. Is there anything else you'd like to end it on a high note, right?
Yeah, exactly. Food poisoning, huh? Oh, you don't know anything about food, huh? Well, what about food poisoning? Well, I can tell you all about food poisoning.
I had to tie it all together in the episode, It's
That's good stuff. I love it. No, just a new Chicken Digger record coming out, and 25 years. I think we're going to do some shows. We're going to try and do some shows maybe in the United States of America.
That would be awesome, because the one time I was supposed to see you guys, you guys didn't make it, and the Nobodies took your place. And I really, I think it was the Queers and Mr. T Experience, and I had seen those guys like 10 times, and I was really going just to see you guys, and I get there, and they said that you weren't going to be playing, so it was bummed.
Well, it's too bad. Like what the Canadian government has done is it's that there's no more fees or work permits for American musicians, so you don't have to pay anything or do anything. And for us to come down there, it costs us thousands of dollars just to do one show.
Oh, that's
to get down for. So it kind of makes it tough, and there's other places in the world where they don't, give you the hassle. So hopefully we can find a good player, figure out the work permit and maybe play enough shows to make it worthwhile, financially. But that's one of the killers. It's too bad. So hopefully maybe your government decides to waive these fees for Canadian musicians, just like we have done for your musicians.
Well, that was the Prime Minister or whoever just met with the President, so maybe there's something good going on, even though we'll have a new president soon.
And you know what? If he didn't say anything, you do live in D.C., right?
That's true, yes.
Well, help us out.
I'll go down with my signs this weekend.
Very awesome.
But, KJ, thanks a lot. You don't have a date on that new Chicks Dig It album yet, do you?
We don't have a date. We're just doing our with the critical.
Okay.
And figuring out sort of what that's going to look like. So, yeah, I mean, I will put it up on the internet as soon as I find out what the date is. And I know Fat will, too. They'll probably beat me to it.
All right, well, thanks a lot for talking to us. Like I said, I've been a fan for years, so this is actually a treat for me. So we're going to send it off with a Chicks Dig It song. This is off their latest album, Safeways, Here We Come. This is Since You Got a Dog on Punk Rock Foodies Radio.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Since you got a dog, no one wants to hang around you. Don't blame yourself, it's not you, it's your dog. I know you think we ain't the girl that you're dating. It's not true, she's a saint, but she can tolerate you and your dog. Since you got a dog, no one ever sees you around. We secretly hope you'll send it to the pound. Don't take it wrong, 'cause
Thanks, Steve, Brian, and Skate Rat. I'd like to thank KJ Jansen for calling in. Check him out on his solo tour. He's got a few shows up in Canada, a couple coming up in May. And look for the new Chicks Dig It album coming out. Very excited about that. And you know what? Americans, write your congressman. Tell them to get rid of that stupid fee for Canadian entertainers. Get those guys down here. I'd like to thank the people here at the Vicious Pig Saloon. Always treating us well. Check out Burning Rose Studios for all your video and graphic needs. Check out Betty Gear on Facebook. And also, while you're on the Facebook there, come on over to Punk Rock Foodies. Over 4,300 members, growing every day. Great pictures of food. Great competitions and contests. Yeah, make food. Post a pic. That's simple. Bone Ape Tit, everyone.
All right, let me think here for a second.